I'm sorry I didn't finish helping her move. Get out of here. I've got one thing left.
And what's that?
The name's Gambit, mon ami.
The entire goddamn skeleton, dickhead.
No, 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 no.
What's going on, guys? We're back for another YouTube video. But before we get into this, I gotta address the allegations real quick. Now, some of you guys watching this are gonna be like, wait, what the fuck is this dude talking about? Allegations? Well, roll the clip. Like, let's just be honest. Like, people call Immortal a fraud, but Immortal is pretty high up on the list if we take Viltrumites out of the equation. Like, I would say right under Alan the Alien and Battle Beast in terms of strength. Like, he's pretty strong. You know what? Let's talk about this real quick. When I tell y'all niggas fucking jumped me in the comment section over this, Immortal is not as strong as Battle Beast or Alan the Alien. This is dumb. Battle Beast and Alan are stronger than most Viltrumites. L take. Bro did not cook. Listen. If you actually listen to the video, I did not say that Immortal was as strong as Alan and Battle Beast. I specifically said taking Viltrumites out of the equation, he would technically be next on the list strength-wise, since, I mean, it technically is established that Immortal has near Viltrumite levels of strength. He just doesn't have the durability to keep up with him because he's in a human body. I was basing what I said off of Immortal giving Omni-Man somewhat of a hard time at the Kaiju fight. Like, it's clear, it's shown that he's strong enough to at least trade blows with him. I was going off of what was shown to me in the show. I'm not talking about the comics or what happens later. I'm talking about where we are at in the show right now. I said he did take over Earth with practically no one being able to stop him because Viltrumites weren't around in that timeline, which is why I said taking Viltrumites out of the equation, he is under them strength-wise. But I'm not even going to go down that road because the last thing I need is the power scalers of this show coming after me. So, I'll just say it. Using Alan and Battle Beast to try and gas up Immortal was stupid. That was stupid. Especially since now we know he can't even win against the Mark. While Alan and Battle Beast were clapping elite-level Viltrumites at the prison escape. So, you know. My bad. God damn it, Immortal. You stay giving these niggas a reason to hate you. It's actually funny because Immortal was not getting this much hate in the previous seasons. From what I remember, all of the hate seemed to be towards two characters, but we're only going to talk about one of them. It's insane because Rex is one of the most liked characters now, and Immortal is one of the most hated. Rex was one of the most hated Invincible characters, and it was justified, because the guy was a selfish prick. Even though he technically was operating as a superhero, he had no heroic traits or qualities. We see this in Season 1 multiple times, specifically in the alien invasion. While Adam, Eve, and the rest of the team are prioritizing the safety and rescue of civilians, Rex only cared about leading the offense and staying alive, and even when being told that he has to save people, he really didn't want to do it. And it's stuff like this that made him such a detriment to the rest of his team, including Adam Eve, who was with them at the time. Rex's arrogance and insecurity ended up eventually costing him his relationship with her when he cheats on her with Duplicate because of his perception of her spending more time with Mark, and at this point of the show it seemed like Rex was bound to be irredeemable. But then his heroics were put to the ultimate test when the Lizard League attacked HQ, and with most of the stronger heroes off-world or already incapacitated by the Lizard League beforehand, it was up to Rex to prove that he had what it takes, and to say he did so was an understatement. Rex locked the fuck in, and despite having his whole hand being eaten off and being shot in the head, he powered his way through and proved that despite the odds, you can win through sheer determination and willpower, even if you don't have the super strength that a Viltrumite does. And for someone who has the strength that rivals Viltrumites, the Immortal loses. Like a lot. First off, the difference between Rex and Immortal is that Obviously, Rex wins a lot of his fights, but Immortal actually very rarely wins and he fights on his own, and the one time he did isn't really praised because, well, a guy with a jetpack is hardly a challenge for someone with his power set. Now, we all know the reasoning for this is because the Immortal is essentially a jobber. The Immortal is a benchmark character who's used to set up the strength of larger threats, which is why even though we are shown how capable he is, and even though there are fights that he should be winning, he just eventually loses over and over because that's the whole function of his character. Strong enough to put up an entertaining fight, not strong enough to win. This makes it difficult to appreciate any of the actual character arcs that this guy goes through because it's always overshadowed by the fact that this guy constantly loses. With Rex, him learning to lock the fuck in with the Lizard League and learning what it means to defend his teammates earned him a newfound respect among the fan base. In comparison to the Immortal, he just loses over and over and over again, which makes him lose more and more respect. Which is why he's now being hit with the fraud allegations. And when the Invincible War came, both of these guys gave their lives, but only one of them is praised. As always, we see Immortal holding his own with the evil mark, but it ended the exact same way as it always does, with Immortal losing, taking another L for the 50th time, along with the rest of his team being completely gutted apart. And even though Immortal technically gave his life, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because he can always come back. With Rex, it's actually a bit different. First, we already see how his character has evolved from season 1 when he actually prioritizes getting his team members to safety, and he himself functions as a distraction to make this happen, knowing he will die in the process. Unlike Immortal and Duplicate, Rex doesn't have any respawns, so he is effectively sacrificing his life for good. And with Rex, he tragically died in battle, but in doing so, he took the evil mark with him and solidified the safety of his teammates. Unfortunately, it happened right when his life started going in the right direction, and now his entire career and his romance with Rey are completely gone now. Immortal comes back, and when being told he can start being a hero again almost immediately, he declines in favor of having the chance to retire and start a family with Duplicate. Now, here's the thing. Fans are calling this unfair, but I think it's important to look at what's happened with these characters up to this point. Immortal is centuries old, and he spent most of it fighting for the greater good and dying gruesome and horrible deaths each time. Given how we saw that this does eventually drive Immortal insane in another reality, it makes the most sense for this Immortal to want to just stop and pursue something more fulfilling. Especially since it was hinted at in season 2 that Immortal was getting more and more mentally unstable. We saw it when he violently attacked a non-hostile Alan the Alien, thinking he was an agent of Omni-Man, and he even quit the Guardians temporarily because of it. So looking back, it's sort of a full circle that Immortal has now decided to retire from superheroing completely. Abandoning the superhero career for something new was also a dilemma that was posed to Rex by Rey earlier in the season as well. The difference is Rex actually opted to continue being a superhero because that's all he's ever known. Unlike Mark, Eve, and Rey, who are actively trying to make something of themselves outside of their superhero lives, being a hero is Rex's life. Rex Splode is Rex's identity. He has been Rex Splode his entire life. So in his eyes, to throw that all away to be normal and do something else was extremely uncomfortable to him, and thus it just wasn't something he wanted to do. He chose to keep being a hero, and with this, he knew he would eventually die a hero's death. When the time came to do so, he didn't hesitate. And don't get me wrong, it is tragic that he went out this way, but it's important to know that this is how he wanted to go out. He wanted to die being a hero. All in all, both of these characters are extremely well written, with the end of their character arcs being extremely fitting for both characters. Rex, who spent most of his life only caring for himself, eventually learned to be selfless, and his final hurrah was giving his life on the line for others, while Immortal, who's a being who can't die, spent most of his life putting his life on the line, and his final hurrah is actually finally retiring and starting a family for himself. It just kind of goes to show, like I said before, how well written a lot of these characters in Invincible are, and I can't wait to see what happens next. That's gonna be it for the video though. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like what you see here, be sure to like the video, share, and comment on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.